Hey, party people, let's draw feet today. Okay, I draw stylized feet. I do fashion illustration. I don't articulate every knuckle and muscle, and I don't even know what most of these things are called. Okay, I don't draw every toe. I usually don't even draw toenails. This is the kind, I'm going to teach you guys the kind of feet that I draw. So if you want to learn all about feet anatomy, this is not the video for you. All right. I draw fashion figures and I draw feet to suit the fashion figures. The number one thing I'm concerned with is proportion, okay? So when a woman is in a high heel, ankle to toe is one head, okay? So if you watch my croquis building videos, then you know no matter what proportion you use, 9 head, 10 head, 11 head, whatever, okay? I mark out the heads before I start drawing, and your feet, ankle to toe, should be about one head, all right? Also, okay, the inside of your forearm, okay, from the inside of the elbow to the inside of the wrist, that should be the length of your foot. And I mean that in real life, okay? Go ahead and stick your foot on your forearm. No, I'm not gonna do it on this video, but it should be in here, okay? And so when you're working on your figures, this is about the same as this, right? You see that? Men are the same. I mean, this is about half a head because he's not in a heel. His foot is coming toward us. And so this is half a head, okay? Now, this, okay, it's the back of his foot would be about here. There's his toe. That is about one head. It's a little bit smaller because it's back in space and things far away are smaller. Haha, funny that. And then again, the inside of his forearm, okay, is about the length of the foot, right? So proportions are important, okay? Now, if you have watched my figure drawing videos, then you know I have a 4-step process, and I follow that for the feet as well. I'm going to do a bunch of videos on how to draw shoes and shoe vocabulary, so if you don't want to miss out on any of those, go ahead and click that subscribe button. This video is in preparation for those shoe videos because I can't teach you how to draw shoes if I don't teach you about feet first, right? Okay. Coffee is so good. All right, so I pulled all these pictures of feet as bare as I could get them. So here is a forward-facing foot. So when I am doing the full figure, I trace the entire width of the ankle with a ball, okay? You know that when I mark my joints like elbows, I always mark the entire width. So ankle bone to ankle bone, right? And then I always mark the center of the leg. Okay, here's the center of the foot. I mark the bottom of the toes and then the top of the toes. That didn't really make sense, but you know where the toes join the rest of the foot and then the very bottom of where the toes are drawn, okay? And that is the basic shape, right? And then, of course, the big toe is the biggest. That's why it's called the big toe. All right. Oh my God, I've had too much coffee today. And then you have the rest of your toes. Honestly, if I'm not preparing a croquis for swimwear or something similar, I don't even bother with the toes, okay? But for the purposes of this demo, I am. And then later on, when I'm drawing the anatomy, you know that I always mark, you know, inside ankle bone is high, outside ankle bone is low, and then the leg is narrower above the ankle. You see that? Here's the ankle, but it's narrower above, narrower above, narrower above, okay? So it's narrower above, and then it flares out for your ankle bones, okay? And then it comes out, and then look, you see slivers of the toenails. Okay, a little bit more because the four smaller toes kind of curve down a little bit. But if you draw them fully square, they're going to look like they're on ballet point. That's not what you want it to look like unless you are drawing a ballerina. You want them to look like, yeah, they're on the balls of their feet, you know, firmly planted on the floor. And so I even exaggerate that. And then here are your toes, round them out. Okay, so they're not robots. I mean, I don't even draw this much detail like 99% of the time. But this is to kind of help you figure things out. Later on, when you draw your shoe, let's say you're drawing a really pointy-toed shoe, you know that your toes are going to squish together, so I curve that in. Everyone knows, anyone who's worn any kind of pointed-toed shoe, whether it's an Oxford or a stiletto pump, this gets squeezed in and there's an empty space here. And make sure this point is not in the middle, okay? Stop drawing your pilgrim shoes. Stop making your left feet look like your right feet, okay? Do not draw them identical. Give me distinct left and right feet, for God's sakes. And you're going to curve this in. This toe is distinctly on one side, the side of your big toe. There's your ankle. Okay, there's that angle. And then the top is going to be right where the toes join the foot. And there's your foot. Now, when you have a foot that's coming right at you, male or female, everything is foreshortened, okay? Your foot is like a wedge, okay? You have this wedge shape. And it is coming at you. And so the toes are going to get wider. Everything is going to get flat. All right? And that's just how it is, okay? And, you know, sometimes it does look weird, not going to lie. But that's the foot. That's just the foot, okay? So, again, when I'm at the croquis stage, here are my ankle bones, okay? There's the center of my calf. And then again, that's the bottom of her foot. That's where the toes join the rest of the foot. And I usually do that sort of deal, okay? And then again, you know, you just see little bits of the toe. Again, ankle bone, and okay. And if you have a strap, it'll sit over your foot like this. And if you have an open toe shoe, you're always going to see some of the sole. Okay, you see some of this, So draw that. A little bit of that. No. Something like that. And yeah, everything looks squished because that's kind of what it looks like. You know, on a dude, just the same. Just, I would make his toes a little bit wider, you know. I typically do that for guys, is just make the foot wider in general. There's his toenails, if you wanted to paint those. Okay, and then the classic side view. Okay, now again, you would put in the ball. Remember, I always mark the width of the whole ankle. Here and here. Inside view or outside view. And then I mark the ball and I mark the toe. Okay, and then the rest is like this big wedge. you know, where it bends. I always mark that. So there's the angle of the calf. There is the width of the ankle. Okay, sometimes I mark the ankle bone. Scratch that. I generally do that. There's the ball. There's the tip of the toe. And then again, here's the width of the ankle and the ankle bone. And then again, the wedge of the foot. There's the ball. There's the toe. There's the direction of the ankle. And then, again, here's the calf. And then I make everything curvier, right? So I curve that heel in and I give it a little bit of arch, although you see more of the arch on the inside, right? A little bit of the arch. There's your baby toe, if you even see that. And then there's the arch of the front and then your toes, like so. And then on the inside, again, it's that wedge. It's got a distinct corner, but, you know, rounded because it's a human body and not some sort of android. And then here's the toe. Sometimes you'll see them, you know, the other toes. Side view, I typically don't even draw them. And then again, you see the arch of the foot on the inside more. And then you have your 3/4 feet. They're a little bit more challenging, but you know, the process is exactly the same. There's the width of the ankle. There's that wedge. And then there's where the toes join. That's the end of the toe, like that. And then again, here's my ankle. Center of the calf, and then that wedge. And it's got that 3/4 turn, okay? And then you have your toes kind of coming at an angle like that. And yeah, you practice these until you're able to freehand them. Just like all the other fashion figure drawings, I use the references, I do tracings, I do study them, and then I draw and I draw and I draw and I practice, and then eventually I just freehand them. You know, sometimes it helps with the 3/4 ones to kind of draw the center, and then here's the big foot. That's the center of the foot, and here's the big foot, big toe, sorry. And then again, you kind of piece it together. There's the heel, and there's the big toe. And there's the rest of your toes. And there's your ankle. Here again, there's your ankle bone. There's your heel. And then this is coming up. And there's your big toe. And then the rest of your toes sit in here. Like so. Okay? And then later on, if you want to put in a shoe, there's the back. And again, make sure you're giving me a distinct left and right shoe. And you see a 3/4. You see how this is the angle, right? Okay. There's like a sweep because it's 3/4, okay? So this is not going to come all the way down here, okay? Because perspective, right? So this heel is going to be back here, back in space. It's going to be shorter. And so there's your foot. I'm going to give it a little bit more of a distinct right foot. And then the heel is going to be back here, okay, tucked in the back and shorter because of the perspective, right? And then again here, you see this goes up higher because of the arch of the foot, but this kind of still wraps around in a normal fashion. Give it that. And then again, you're going to see that heel back there. Ooh. A little bit closer. And then, right? Back of feet, okay, which is a bigger concern for a lot of people, but you know, it's the same. There's that ankle with the bones, and there's the wedge, and then there's the bottom of the foot, and then I mark the center. And then again, ankle high on the inside, low on the outside, and then Achilles heel that straddles that center line. And then there's the heel. And then there's the bottom of the foot, your sole. And there's that. And if you want a shoe in there, you can, it'll go up, right? And usually, you know, pumps, they have that center back stitch line in the back. And then you'll see that's the sole of your shoe. And your heel will come out the center here, okay? So depending on what kind of heel you like. And yeah, this will be longer because it's in front, and then the toes go back in space. So this heel has to be longer than the ball of the foot. And then of course, for any kind of flat foot, male, female, all of these male, female, whatever you want to do, it's very simple. You just have the wedge. Always, you know, always marking the width of the ankle when you're drawing the figure. And again, there's your calf. Inside ankle bone is high, outside ankle bone is low. The space above the ankle is where you're narrowest. And then there's your Achilles tendon, and there's the back of your foot. And sometimes if like, you know, something like this where their foot is very wide, you'll see a little bit of that. Or on guys, I'll draw a little bit more. And if it looks like a stump, that's okay, because it kind of is a stump. It's a stump from the back, okay? It's a stump of an appendage. All right, don't worry about it. And then here is a little bit of a 3/4. Again, I know. I'm just repeating myself over and over again because it's the same process for every angle, okay? So there's the center of the calf, like the middle point, but your Achilles tendon sits here. And so I mark that, you know, and then your ankle bone is here. There's the bottom of your heel. And then you see this, I draw the planes, you know, there's the wedge, there's the wedge, there's the ball, there I mark the toes, okay? And then again, here is the ankle. Here's the center of the calf. There's my Achilles heel. And then I mark. And then on this one again, you see more of the inside arch of the foot. There's that wedge. There's that ball. There's that toe. And you're like, Zoe, is there any way I could do this without pictures of feet? I get this question a lot in terms of figures. And I'm like, you know what? You can, but you can ask any drawing teacher in the world, what is the best way to learn how to draw? Go look at examples, real life examples of what you're trying to draw. Okay, and so whether you use my trace first, practice, and then develop method, or you just draw from observation, you're gonna need pictures of feet. Okay, you want to learn how to draw feet? You need to look at feet. Okay, borrow your roommate and ask them to pose in the way your fashion figures are posing so that you can figure out the feet. Go, you know, I found these on Pinterest. Okay, you have to go look at feet. You can't just draw feet. You can't not look at pictures of feet and expect yourself to draw feet. All right, and then there's your ankle. And then again, you see those toes in there, and then there's the ball and the sole of your foot. You know, you can draw your toes if you want, but most of the time, like I said, I don't care. And there's your calf. And then, again, there's that wedge. There's the toe, big toe. There's the sole of your foot. There's your Achilles heel, tendon, whatever. There's your ankle in there. It's softer on the inside. It's not as articulated, but it's still there. And then let's draw some basic shoes, heels on them. Again, this is the big toe, and so your heel is going to be pointed closer to that. And so there's your ankle. And so the back is going to wrap around the heel and then come around. And there's the edge. You're going to see the bottom of the foot. And again, don't forget the perspective. Okay, the toes are further away than the heel. And so the heel is going to be a little bit longer. Maybe not that long. Like that. Okay. And then again, there's the bottom of the foot, and we're going to see this wrapping over the back of the heel and coming down, and then you're going to see that. And then again, there's the bottom of your shoe, and then again, your heel, again, is going to be a little bit longer because of the perspective. And there's the sole, and there's the heel, like so. All right, I hope that was helpful for you guys. I spent a lot of time in life drawing classes, studying feet, drawing feet, doing anatomical studies on feet. Okay, so that later when I was stylizing my illustrations for fashion, I had the basics of where the bones were and, you know, the Achilles heel and where it's placed and things like that. And then I developed this tracing building blocks and adding anatomy method for students who didn't have the benefit of sitting in super intense 6-hour anatomy classes like I did. All right, so yeah, I hope this was helpful for you guys. All right, I think tracing gets a really bad rap. I am not in favor of tracing illustrations like, you know, copying stuff, but this is a learning tool, okay? And it's a step in the process, not the finished thing, okay? So it's a little bit different when it's a process thing and a learning thing as opposed to tracing a final something. All right. And even when you're tracing a final something so you can learn from it is different than tracing something and then passing it off as your own. Okay. That's what you don't want to do. Anyway, that's how I feel about feet and tracing and drawing and all those good things. And I am super caffeinated. And yeah, please like this video if you found it helpful for you. subscribe so that you get notifications for all the shoe videos. And yeah, share, show me some love, ask me your questions. I'm out of coffee. I gotta go get more coffee. All right, I will see y'all in the next video.